I wanted to talk about some of the products that TOPHAT High Precision Archery Products is putting out and making available to hunters and target shooters in the United States and of course abroad. TOPHAT is a German-based company. My good friend Blackie Schwartz works there. He's a great guy, great company, fantastic products, built to the highest of precision standards and tolerances. Their points, that's a bullet point, 125 grain. They're built exceedingly well. I mean, you can just look at it and see it's a well-made point. Small little rubber O-ring type gasket, just a really nicely made point. That's the bullet point. That's the point that I prefer. Here's your standard, I guess we'd call it a target point. Again, you can see the black little O-ring down here. Very well made. I've seen a lot on the forums where people talk about when they tune their bows, they take an arrow, and because they want to make a certain arrow that they have work out of a certain bow, they play with a lot of point weights, and that's fine. That works really well, and a lot better shooters than myself do it that way. I, for one, have a past history and a track record with certain broadheads. So I like to kind of tune my arrows in a way that I am getting to use the broadheads that I'm familiar with. What I would always do is, I love that there's a ton of great broadheads in that 125 grain mark. There's the old snuffers. Killed a lot of deer with these. Originally designed by Roger Rothar. I believe Magnus makes them now. Has for many years. Just a fantastic, big, nasty 3-blade head. The Wenzel Woodsman. Just a fantastic head. A head that I keep using every year, going back to the head I shot my deer with this year. Great point, 125 grain. The new Helix, which is only sharpened on the, well, it's sharpened on both sides, but it's what I would call a chisel grind. Neat head. I haven't shot anything with it, but 125. The Montec 125, another great head. Used it for a lot of years, a lot of deer. Now, to do that, what I would normally do is, because I like that 125 grain head because there's so many good heads available in it, I would tune my arrows. When I start out, I put a 100 grain brass insert. I like to get a little bit of FOC up front. I'm not crazy about it, but when it comes to making ridiculous amounts, but with a 125 grain head and a 100 grain brass insert, I found that it tunes very well for me. And I like the 225 up front. It gives me a lot of options in heads. TOPHAT makes some fantastic brass 100 grain inserts, beautifully machined, work really well. That gives me a large choice of broadheads to get me at that 225. Another broadhead company that I really like is Simmons. Simmons does the Tree Shark and the Interceptor, which is another favorite head of mine. I really like the Interceptor. I've had very good luck with shooting them and tuning with them, but the issue is they're 190 grains. So what I would have to do usually, here's a TOPHAT version, is an aluminum 20 grain aluminum insert. I would take that and I would combine it with 2 5 grain brass washers, and that would give me 220, close enough to my 225. But by the time I thread in, I'm not getting a lot of threads in there. Those washers are not letting me get as many turns as I'd like. What I'm thrilled to see now is to get to my 225-ish is TOPHAT's new 40 grain insert. That brings me to 230. So with this at 230 and something like this at 225, I'm not a good enough shooter. But what this system does allow is it lets me shoot the broadheads I want to shoot and keep to that very close to that 225 grain mark. I've had great luck with, like I said, with 225 up front. I'm not telling everybody that they need to shoot FOC. I'm just saying for me, using TOPHAT's products allows me to really tailor in what I want. And like I said, I'm very happy with the performance. Again, I appreciate everybody looking. I appreciate Blackie. I appreciate TOPHAT. And the rest of the broadheads I use, great stuff. Check out TOPHAT Archery products. Some of the finest precision stuff that's out there. Here is also, by the way, a 60 grain 5/16 insert. So again, if you've got that favorite weight broadhead, but you want to keep consistent because that's the way you tune your arrows, TOPHAT makes a great product for anybody to get and enjoy. High quality stuff. Thank you. Available at